Today we're making all beef meat sauce, and this recipe is really easy. And let's get started. So we're gonna cut down this carrot into more manageable pieces. So just like that. And like that. So moving on to the celery. Here's how I cut onions, or how I cut onions for meat sauce. And it doesn't really matter how you cut this garlic. Okay, that's good enough. Some optional things in this recipe today is red wine. If you don't have red wine, you could use red wine vinegar. Here's some red wine. This is actually pretty garbage wine, and it's just been in my fridge for a few weeks, so it's now cooking wine. Also optional, Parmesan cheese rinds. Another optional thing are bay leaves. And also the spices. You really don't have to use any of these spices. You could just have a pure meat flavor. Traditionally, you wouldn't use chicken stock. So the quickest and easiest way to make this chicken stock, just to run the water till it's at the hottest temperature, fill it up, and dissolve. With a chopstick, of course. Okay, so that didn't work out as planned. It's my first time using this brand of chicken stock. So let's try this again. Now we'll start cooking the sofrito. Oops. So we start by adding some olive oil. Add some more olive oil here. And in we go. So while it's softening, we're gonna add some salt and pepper. The salt will help the veggies break down faster, and the pepper just for some pepper flavor. All right, so we're now at the stage where this is cooked down quite a bit. We're gonna add in the garlic. Make a little well. Crank up the heat to high. We're gonna add a little bit of wine. Or optional red wine vinegar, but if you're using vinegar, I would add it closer to the end. So what's gonna happen is we're reducing the wine and all the alcohol is evaporating, leaving behind the flavor and essence of red wine. Okay, turn the heat down a little bit. Here again, I'm gonna season this meat with some salt and pepper. Pretty simple. Here it is. I'm gonna add close to half of this container. Oops. If not more than half. Yeah, there you go. So I pretty much used almost the whole thing, and we might use the whole thing. I'm gonna add some more wine. And that's it for the wine. So I can smell the wine evaporating, and at the same time we're cooking down the tomato paste. We're still on almost all the way up high heat. So now I'm going to turn it down to medium. We're going to add in the tomato sauce. And this tomato sauce as well. And what we can do is take this chicken stock and rinse out the cans of tomatoes. So at this point, I'm going to turn it on to simmer. I'm gonna add in the Parmesan cheese rinds. I'll add in a bay leaf, 1 bay leaf. I'll add basil. And some oregano. And then we're gonna cover it with a little crack. And that's pretty much all the hard work done. Now we're just gonna clean, and we'll come back and taste it and adjust the seasoning if needed. All right, so it's been about 10-15 minutes. I've already cleaned up the kitchen. And now it's time to do a little taste test before we let this simmer. You're gonna let this simmer from anywhere between 1 and 3 hours. Technically the sauce is done now. The meat is fully cooked, but you're just rendering it down so that the meat in the sauce becomes really tender. So here we're gonna do a little taste test and figure out what we need to do, if anything. It's literally perfect. I'm gonna let this simmer for about an hour and I'll be back. All right, we're back and it's been nearly 2 hours. So here's what the sauce looks like. Very nice, very nice. And I'm gonna give you a little tip that they don't want you to know, is we're gonna hand blend this a little bit. First, we're gonna try and find those rinds I put in and the bay leaf and remove those. Let's see. Where you at? There it is. Now I think the other rinds I put in weren't really rinds, they were actually cheese, which is good. So let's remove those. And now you can see how thick this sauce is. So the secret they don't want you to know is you're gonna hand blend it down. I'm gonna put this on the lowest setting. And here we go. Okay, not too much, just enough to break down those big bits. And you're just gonna mix it up to check. Here I have some more bigger bits. And this is also the reason why you don't have to really be too picky of how you cut your vegetables or garlic, because at the end, we're gonna take care of all those big bits by just hand blending it down a little bit. All right, I just made some fresh rotini pasta. And let's assemble this dish. This is a grown man's dish. Yeah. Just like Nonna makes. Nice. Shit, this is too big. Ah. You deserve it. And also, don't use a microplane to grate your cheese. Now, final touch, some black pepper on top of the cheese. And some really nice olive oil. All right, so my last video, I guess my bite was out of frame, so we'll do a proper bite in this video. There you go. Perfect. All right, guys, thanks for watching. See you again in the next video.